look, he doesn't need to get any better in this game. He's shown that time and time again. But is there a way that he can get better?
I believe there is, but I think the way that he is entertained and the way that he's brought a different style of darts to the game, going different routes, that, do you know what? I fancy that route because I like going that way and I'm actually playing the game. So I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm not listening to the pundits. I'm not listening to the commentators. If I feel that I can go ball double 14 in that particular moment, that's the way I'm going to go. And I'm not listening to anybody else. And it's an absolute breath of fresh air. It's like a Ronnie Sullivan snooker attitude towards darts, but without the attitude, because he's lovely when he's off the board.
Yeah, or bull double 10 in a World Championship final, of course. But speaking as a player, if you're his opponent, you're still respecting that, right? Because you understand what he's doing for the game. It's not, in my opinion, it's certainly not disrespectful.
25 years ago, in my local pub, if I went tops, I've had a clip round the ear by the local 60-year-old fella that had been playing for 40 years going, "Are you taking the Michael out of me, young man?" That's not the case with darts anymore. It's brought a new excitement to the darts. It's brought a new cheekiness to the darts, and it's also about getting in your rival's head as well. I can do this. Can you do this? And it's peacockery, as Wayne Marder would say, and I think it's great for the game.
Yeah, and it's a new way to play mind games, isn't it? It's not what Phil Taylor used to do off the board. Luke Littler is able to save it all for what happens up there. But look, Luke Littler in Glasgow, of course, goes on to win the night. And you look at his stats overall for the evening. A 103 average, 55% checkout success, a high out of 170, the biggest in the game. It really, really was remarkable.
And we talk about what a maverick he is at the game, and you just mentioned 170, and the first thing I see in my head is him getting the fishing rod out and reeling everybody in. And this is great for the game, and this is what he's doing. He's just a kid in effectiveness, enjoying what he does and being paid damn handsomely for it. So why don't you enjoy it? Why let the pressure get to you? And at the moment, when you're playing well, the pressure doesn't get to you. We will see him at some point, the pressure will be getting to him, but I think he'll come through it and then come back even better than when he went in, because that's the type of character he is.
Yeah, John McDonald is now introducing these two players, and Gerwyn Price giving his first booyah of the night to the camera. The Iceman, the first to be introduced to the crowd, met by the pantomime boos. A wry smile as always from the Welshman as that happens, but you can see with his demeanour just as he's taken to the stage there, he's having a bit of fun with the game again. It is so refreshing to see this version of the Welshman back up on the stage. He is giving it large to this crowd already, and they're starting to love it, Scott. They are absolutely adoring what he's doing, and a dart hasn't been thrown. You can see he is just lapping up the attention he's getting, but now a slight hush descending before the introduction of greatness, the phenomenon that is Luke Littler, who of course lost out in the quarterfinals here at the 3 Arena last year. That was night 8 of the Premier League before he went on to pick up the title on week 9. He'll of course be hoping to stay in this competition for a little bit longer. But were you at all surprised when I read out the head-to-head for these two players?
Yeah, a little bit actually, but I know what it's like as a player. When somebody's got one over you and you've got 3 or 4 times before, you start to think in your head that it's your turn. And then something may happen in the game early doors for it to be his turn and make you swing your mind to go, he's just missed 2 darts top, he never misses that. Maybe it's my turn today, and you start to reverse psychologise yourself. It's a fabulous way of thinking, and I'm wondering whether that's going to happen. I do like the fact that Gezzy's come out with a green shirt as well here in Ireland. Very clever play, doing the old Barney type trip, and Phil Taylor used to do it as well. Very good.
Well, you say that, Scott, but last year it got a bit ridiculous because the majority of the field were doing it. So then the crowd are just kind of like, oh, you're all doing it now. It kind of got a little bit boring. Maybe if he's the only one that does it, it takes on that significance again. But I do think there was a point last year where Nathan Aspinall was doing it, Michael Smith was doing it, you had Gerwyn Price doing it. It kind of got a little bit where it was like, Okay, the novelty's worn off slightly now.
Samey is the word you're looking for. It got samey.
Yes, it did. It certainly did. I wonder how much there's going to be to like about this head-to-head then. Luke Littler first to toe the hockey for his practice starts up on this stage. But I just want to pick up, before we get into this contest, they're both going through their warm-up darts at the moment. But on the last match, of course, Stephen Bunting, after 3 weeks, left on 0 points. And a few people have mentioned it to me, a few players and former pros have said that the thing with Stephen Bunting that they think he might struggle with in this campaign is because his darts are so light, going to these different venues where the conditions are so different week after week. Do you see that being a problem for him throughout this campaign?
I think possibly, maybe, but I think the reason that he went up the Grammys that he did was to try and combat that back a sort of certain amount of time ago. He's not a little lad anymore, is our Stephen, like when I met him when he was 13 or 14 years old. So he's a grown man now, and to be able to throw the darts like he used to at that weight, he had to change something. At the moment, I think he's been a little bit unfortunate. I think at times you can say in this Premier League campaign already, he's dropped on the wrong person at the wrong time.
Hugh Ware just getting this game underway. Luke Littler having a little laugh and a joke with the crowd who are singing Gerwyn Price's name. Luke Littler decided to join in, chanting his opponent's name. Different technique, different tactic, never seen that before. And it is Gerwyn Price who starts with a 140. Luke Littler got the darts in this match, and now he is in the red bit. Can he fill it up with 3? Of course he can. That is 18th maximum of the Premier League already. He was joint on 17 with Michael van Gerwen ahead of tonight's action.
Who ironically have played less matches as well, so it could be a more impressive stat at the moment, but time will tell on that one. But I always say when you're watching players throw, you can tell how long they've been throwing by how far their backswing goes on their throw. And when I say the backswing, it's like the backswing of golf, how far they bring their arm back. And if you've been playing from a young age, you tend to bring your arm back right by your face, because you've been playing since you were 6 or 7 and you've been struggling to reach the board, and your action stays exactly the same, and that's exactly what Luke Littler's action is all about.
Yeah, certainly not struggling at the moment. 2 180s in this opening leg. Gives him 3 in hand at tops to take it. Misses that, so has to switch to his favourite double 10. Comes inside, but pins double 5. A hold of throw for the teenager, who just snarls as he retrieves his darts.
The bull-up is also important in these shorter formats, with these standard of players being so even. You know, if you don't get that mistake from your opponent and you've got the darts to start the game, you should win your 6 throws. But I know the game doesn't always happen and work that way. And now here comes Gerwyn Price with a 180 of his own. It's his 3rd in this match already.
Yeah, the Welshman's first of the contest, but it does put him in control, and he's back in the red bit again. The Welshman just strays into the 5s.
95. A treble 5 at that matches the green on his shirt this evening in Dublin. And Luke Littler hits a treble 1, and that's the green as well. Anything you can do, I can do as well. Price looks favourite for this on 145. But he's had away with dart there. Not going to be. Littler back on 346. He'd have given this leg up now, I would have said, and let Price just ease this 80 out. He will try and hit a 180. Smirk as they're singing Gerwyn Price's name. Littler gives it the wry smile as his last dart hits the 180. It does leave him 166. That was probably more what the wry smile was all about.
Yeah, left himself on a bogey number. No Rice smile now, though, as Gerwyn Price misses his opportunity to level proceedings.
It'll be interesting to know how much that miscount will affect Littler maybe at the start of the next leg, because these sorts of things can affect you.
But it is Gerwyn Price who roars as he finally levels up this contest. Misses opening 4 darts at double, but pins the 5th in double 5 to level up the contest.
Roaring back at baby Luke Littler. It's like picking on Bambi. But we know Gezi does that. That's what motivates him. It's not at anybody else. It's about getting him going and getting his juices flowing.
Look, people can complain all they want about what it means or what he's doing. That is the way he is. It's not to put anyone off, and I think it's box office. I absolutely adore the characters we see in this game. If he didn't do that and they were all the same, what would be the point?
100% agree with that, Abby. And actually, when you speak to Gezi off the board, he is quite a quiet, shy fellow. People don't realise that. If he doesn't really know you, he is quite a shy fella.
This is scoring power from the gods from Luke Littler at the moment. Can Gerwyn Price respond with a 180? Just a 140, but it does mean he is first down to a finish on the Luke Littler throw. Price on 1-2-2.
You can tell when it's a great game, the crowd go quiet because they don't want to miss a bit of it.
This is completely captivating at the moment from both of these players. Price decides to start on the bull. Now back upstairs and gets the treble 18 to leave himself perfectly poised on double 12, a section of the board he does really like.
And it'll be a breaker throw as well. Not something very often you get a chance to do against this man, Luke Littler. Awkward. He's got two just on the outside. And the second dart went across at a 45-degree angle after clipping the first. So it's now all about the 91. That's the bullseye. 41 for Littler. Where's he going? Is it one tops or 9 for 32? It's one tops.
71. And now Littler's missed an opportunity as well. So Gerwyn Price comes back and he does pin double 6. He gets that crucial break of throw. He'll have thought the opportunity had passed him by when he missed the first three. It's taken him a few opportunities to get over the line in legs, Gerwyn Price, but he does have a 2-1 advantage in this one, averaging 98. Very rare that after 3 legs in a contest on TV, you see Luke Littler averaging 88. And that is because, Scott, yes, he's hit 4 180s, but there have been no 140s, no tons. It's been a 180 or nothing.
It's been feast or famine, hasn't it, for him so far? It really has. Gezi's been Mr. Steady Eddie, hasn't he? He's been there right across the board, never scoring anything too low, but always there. And here's the treble-less visits. There's 7 treble-less visits from Littler so far in the first 3 legs, and just the 1 from Price. And that is why the score is at 2-1 as we stand.
He is looking very, very good in this one.
Littler looking good here to break back now.
But a stray dart from Luke Littler into the wrong segment. Wanted the treble 20. He just floated into the 5. So Gerwyn Price now with a look at the 130. Just stay straight with that first dart. Does better. Gets the treble. Another one in there, but he gets the dart at the bull. And he is quite a way off with that one, Scott.
He got a little excited there, didn't he? He got a little excited. He thought that was going and overpitched it. Littler 78 goes big 18, double top, double 10, but misses his favourite double 10. Price now comes back, hits a 14. He's sat on 38. It's 24. He favours that side of the board as his favourite. Inside it, double 6 now. Yeah, so you can hear from the roar. He takes a 3-1 lead. A break is only a break if you can hold your throw, next throw. And he managed to do that, so now takes a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and the last 2 legs, Luke Littler has had an opportunity. But double 10 not working for him, as we're so used to seeing it do. We've both mentioned it though, Scott. Gerwyn Price absolutely loves double 12, but it's been double 6 that he's pinned to take his last 2. That's been working for him nicely. But it doesn't really matter as long as you get the job done.
As a player, if your favourite double, say double 10, your second favourite double needs to be double 5. And likewise with the 24. And that's exactly what Gezi does. He does not mind that double six. I don't think he's so keen on the double three, if you ask him, but he's usually got the job done before then.
Yeah, who is keen on double three? But really interestingly, Luke Littler's finishing stats for this tournament coming into tonight's play, 52%. But he's just 1 from 5 on the outer ring this evening. It's not clicked into gear for him as of yet, and it is Gerwyn Price again on the Littler throw, who is first down to a finish. 1-4-2 to extend his advantage. Not going to go this time. Luke Littler now on 160. It's going to need to be perfect from the 18-year-old if he's to hold throw. But Gerwyn Price looking for the perfect setup, having to move across the oche to find his way through to the treble 17 bed. Does so beautifully to leave himself again on double 12, which he is going to get a look at because Luke Littler missed the first dart at treble 20. So Gerwyn Price to take a 4-1 advantage. Misses 2 outside. Can he use them as a marker? Yes, he can. 4-1 Gerwyn Price. Luke Littler, shake of his head. It's just not happening for him at the moment.
No, it's not. And you said about his doubling stats earlier. They're all good stats, but you've got to keep getting down to that double. And he's hitting 180s, as you said before, but he's not having sort of anything after it. And Gezi is absolutely jumping on it. And we know that he's a good front runner, Gezi. He doesn't take his foot off of your neck. And once he's got you pinned to the floor, it's not too far long before you get the 3 count.
4 perfect darts before 1-2 go into the wrong segment. He just punches his hand before retrieving the darts. But he is still in a very strong position on throw. 2-4-1. Gerwyn Price is down to 100. As Luke Littler, you could hear there, loath to mention it, but a whistle from the crowd. And Luke Littler just acknowledging them as he retrieves his darts. Look, we mention it time and time again, but you've paid good money to watch 8 of the best players in the world produce greatness. Give them the respect they deserve to produce brilliance for you. Do not whistle. Cheer on your favourite, but just don't whistle.
The only way you hear a whistle in the country where I'm from is when you're trying to get your dog back, or the electric goes out and you've got the old-fashioned kettle on the log burner.
104.
Gerwyn Price then 56 points away from a 5-1 lead. Tops is the requirement. Just takes a step back, misses high. Both of them above the target. Luke Littler poised to punish on 109. Starts on the treble 19, gets it. Double 12. And he just steadies himself now. It's double 14 that he requires, but he's confused himself here. He does check with Hugh Ware.
The crowd think he's pausing for a bit of whatever, but he got it anyway. He goes back and reacts to the crowd, asks them to calm down. I think that's the most animated I've ever seen Luke Littler with a crowd.
Look, I've seen it on the Euro Tour a couple of times where he's been subjected to some whistling and some comments that he's not been particularly fond of, but this Dublin crowd has really got him riled. And I think, you know, part of it will be that he's not pleased with his own performance, but what a way to respond. You think when a youngster, or any player really, gets embroiled with the crowd, you think, has that unsteadied them? Has that unsettled them? Luke Littler does that, he responds with a 180.
Let me tell you something, playing youth darts can be even more harsh than playing adult darts at times. And he's gone all through that youth system since 9 years old, and he would have seen it.
100.
And this is just great stuff from him. What the crowd has done, they've actually given him his mojo back, and he's starting to play really, really well and bounce off the energy. And now he's hitting trebles for fun. That was a 1-3-5, and he's quieting the crowd down.
He was 5-1 down to Rob Cross last week in Glasgow. He was 4-1 down to Gerwyn Price in this one. Within a blink of an eye, he has now got his deficit down to just 4-3. The speed in which he can turn a contest around, it is mesmerising.
And he's playing that well that he's turned the crowd round as well.
Yeah.
That's the point. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff from Littler. Surely, Abby, there is going to be a period where he's not going to be everybody's cup of tea at some point. He has turned darts into another sport in the last 18 months. But there will be times where there will be lows for him within the game where people, no matter how nice you are, you can just be too nice and people don't like that either.
Yeah, I think there'll be lows, you know, where possibly he doesn't win as much as he currently is. And unfortunately, the world and the sport we live in, sometimes it gets to a point where you're so successful, people have built you up, they want to knock you down. And everything he's had to deal with so far in his career, he's dealt with admirably. But it's Gerwyn Price looking for an admirable checkout now. A 1-2-4 double 11 required, and he is the width of a wire away from pinning it. Luke Littler, well, this would be spectacular. A 1-3-7. Tops was the target. He gets the first one, but just misses with the second. How close?
Abby, he thought that was in. That hit his other dart, and he thought it was home and dry. Gezi makes sure of the big 3, hits the double 4. He takes the 11 out that he's got left. He takes a 5-3 lead. The world champion Luke Littler is battling to stay in this game, and he has the darts to try and keep himself in this match.
That 1-3-7 really would have hurt from Luke Littler, but Gerwyn Price remains steady. And against the throw, he has started perfectly. Littler on 4.05, Gerwyn Price 3-2-1. This is fantastic stuff from Gerwyn Price.
This game has sort of toed and froed, and both have had purple patches in varying parts of the game, but ultimately Price has had them at the right time, and that's why he's 5-3 in front. Follows the 180 with what you have to say has been a poor visit with the way that this match has gone. And Littler jumps on that like a kid on a box of sweets.
Yeah, and really interestingly in this match, Gerwyn Price, there has only been one leg of this contest where he hasn't had a dart at double. That's how consistently he's been scoring. He's been giving himself opportunities more frequently, and he's got an opportunity to get the match won here with a 1-3-8. But it's not going to happen, so Luke Littler ready to pounce again. 3 darts in hand at tops. Now down for double 10, and he does pin it. He extends this contest even further. Gerwyn Price with the darts to win this. He's got a 5-4 advantage. Again, it's another leg that he starts perfectly. A 180. What can Littler do to respond? It's looking pretty perfect. But the last dart drops low of the treble 20 bed, a 140. But Price is back in the red bit. He is piling them in. Back-to-back 180s, and that grouping, there was room in that bed for another 12, Scott.
There was indeed. It was right on a pinhead. Littler's gone 140, 140, and he's not even in the leg. Gezi starts downstairs on the 19s to try and go back upstairs. It hasn't worked for him that direction round. But he still leaves himself on 78. Littler's back on 2-2-1 and needs something big to pressure this 78 of Price, or it looks like the match is a foregone conclusion.
The trebles have deserted Littler. He's left himself on a bogey number. Price 78 points from victory. Tops is now the target. He has to move across the oche to try and find it, and he manages to do just that. At the start of this contest, well, I mentioned that Gerwyn Price was one of very few players on the planet to have a positive head-to-head record over Luke the Nuke Littler, the world champion and world number 2. Well, he has extended that now because they have met 10 times, and it is Gerwyn Price who has come out on top in 6 of them, including the last 5. Coming up after the break here on talkSPORT 2, we've got Rob Cross taking on Nathan Aspinall. The Asp looking for his first points in this year's Premier League campaign, and interestingly, he's only lost once to Voltage in the Premier League. That's coming up next with myself, Annie and Danter, so make sure you stay tuned. When it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Threat Protection Pro helps you dodge bogus sites, and with the Dark Web Monitor, well, you'll get a heads up if your personal info stats circulating in the online equivalent of the madhouse. Go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and get 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal. It's a risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.